How's it going, everybody? It's Redcoat from Sound Valley Studios, bringing you guys to another edition of the Valley Rising podcast series. This series is intended to showcase some of the up-and-coming artists here in Arizona, people who have been working on their music, whether it be here at Sound Valley Studios or at other locations around the valley. What we're really trying to do is just bring them to light a little bit and showcase their abilities and kind of the work that they've got going on, especially those here out of the Southwest and out of Arizona. With that said, without further ado, I would like to bring to the show our next guest, Laylow Ricco. What's up, brother? How are you doing?
Oh man,
Been living life?
looks like it.
I love it. I love it. Well, tell the people a little bit about who you are so at least parts of Arizona and whoever's out there watching can get to know you. Where are you from? And tell us just a little bit about yourself.
I'm the only Laylow Ricco, man, you ever gonna meet, man. From Findlay, Ohio, man. We know how we get down over there, man. Shout out to all my people out there.
Okay, shout out Ohio.
And yeah.
So tell us a little bit about yourself. You've been making music for a while, or you kind of new to this, or kind of tell me a little bit about how you got into this.
Making music with the homies and kicking back. It's kind of about it, man. Just that's how we got on.
So like that was kind of like your early childhood memories, like out on the park or out on the block, just kind of making music with the family, with the homies out there.
Yup, bro. And then all of a sudden you just see the gifts start coming, and I start making off the dome music videos, posting them on Facebook, and
Okay.
people started gravitating towards that. That was really exciting for a lot of people to see, because nobody from my city really had that talent of, somebody rapping off the dome like that. And but yeah,
So a lot of freestyling out in the park is what you're saying.
bro, that's how it all started. That was the beginning. I started going by Laylow Sag Loke first and Laylow Ricco because it soothed me more. And I used to say, hashtag off the dome, and then, yeah.
That's what's up, bro. So growing up then in Ohio, like maybe tell us about like who your musical influences were, or were there maybe certain artists that you were growing up around or that you were kind of listening to that kind of influenced you growing up?
Yeah, I mean, Tupac was definitely big on me. Michael Jackson, bro. I feel like those two collided makes a super natural, big impact on the communities as a whole, for
sure.
everyone around the globe. And obviously, you got those new artists, man. I watched The Baby blow up, and I watched Polo G blow up, and NLE Choppa, he was doing his thing back then, and everything just started riding. But I was doing my own thing, before I picked up on any other artist like that. So
If you never got into that kind of interest or that game, or if you never got into music, what else do you think you'd be doing? Something back in Ohio, or you think you would have been doing something different?
I would have been a world champion in something.
Whatever it is, put your mind to it and be great, right?
I was going to be the greatest regardless.
So what kind of inspired you then to take on the music path, other than just obviously you're working in the park and you're spitting with homies? What I guess kind of thinking back on your career was like, oh man, now I'm gonna turn Laylow Ricco into something where now I've got a social media following, you've been shooting your videos, you're here on the podcast. It's now become a real artistry, right? And so kind of talk to me about what that tipping point was, or what made you decide to go this route.
I think it just happened, and obviously around the time when I started doing music, about 5 years back, I feel like music was at its like all-time peak, and it just started happening. Like, I didn't really ask for it, kind of. It just happened.
Something that just occurred naturally.
Mm-hmm.
If you were to, I guess, kind of like describe your sound a little bit, right? Like if there's somebody who has never in their life heard any Ricco songs, what do you think you would describe it as, or what do you kind of want them to feel?
Well, first off, I want to give a huge shout out to Money Sign Sway, bro, because he kind of gave me the idea of the whole prepare for the worst. And
Okay.
he did die in prison, but that's when I found a 4-leaf clover when I was locked up. And the songs just went hand in hand. I felt like the idea was something greater than myself. It was kind of like he didn't get to fulfill his dream and his destiny and he was calling himself the chosen one, and he had a lot of the same characteristics, qualities, even the potential I had back then before I gave my life to God. So
Okay, so expand on that a little bit. Like you got into music and you started writing and you've got some of these influences, but then you talk about your faith and your religious side too. So talk about as an artist who's kind of in a world where, things can be left, right, in the middle, in between. How do you manage that and navigate some of that?
as far as what?
Just as far as like, you know what I'm saying, how you're living through having your faith and through how God has maybe helped or changed your musical journey or just how that's impacted you as an artist. Because like I said, man, like, especially in today's world, I'm a believer too myself, but there's obviously people who maybe aren't, right? So, and there's a lot of outside pressures and things of the social media and all this kind of stuff going on these days where I sometimes just like to hear from artists who still do have that faith, kind of how they navigate the waters of that, how it helped you or changed you, and just kind of elaborate a little bit on what that journey's been like for you.
Yeah, man, it's a struggle, man, regardless. But yeah, I just kind of picked it up as I went, and I feel like God was talking to me. And when supernatural things was occurring in my life, I felt like, okay, I really need to pick up the stones and getting to whack the giant.
Yeah,
So that's exactly what I did. Kind of like King David, man.
absolutely.
Once I started getting into the gospel a little bit more, it just felt so real to my own life where I was like, you know what? Like maybe there's something bigger than myself that's really trying to like guide my path in a sense. And obviously I feel like a lot of people can see that when they see me and they look around and they're like, oh, especially where I come from, it's like, you know, kind of in the political world. Now I'm just doing what I'm supposed to do and staying focused and just grinding and trying to stay as close to God as possible. And that all started with the four-leaf clover, though. When I found that in myself, that was like the game changing my ideas. And then, I still went in off of my own with sin a little bit, but then everything starts crashing down around me. And then all of a sudden, when I had to let old girl go, that was like the really big turning point for my life, because now I'm super hurt. I'm in distraught. I don't know what to do. I'm not eating for weeks. I'm just so depressed, but I'm kicking through. And it was my first week, man, when I got to Michigan, when God told me, what I had to do. And that was what Wicked Shadows is really about, that whole story. And, if you see the cover art for that, you can kind of get a description of what happened. But long story short, like I said, I was with her. I kept falling into this sin of mine, and I didn't like it. But it was like me pleading out to God, but I didn't really believe at that time. And that's when God told me, hey, we gotta make some adjustments and some movements. And that's exactly what I did. I listened to him. In my first week in Michigan, when I lost my other four-leaf clover, I was going down the tubing raft, and that's when I found a four-leaf clover right on my leg, bro. And I was able to save that, and I still got it till this day. So
That's awesome.
God bless.
So the four-leaf clover definitely has like a real impact and a sentiment to your life, but it sounds like connects maybe with you and your faith as well, right? Like maybe a sign from God or things that'll help to get you through.
It was significant because I took it and I handled it well. So that's what y'all can see now.
So then you turned in and you started making this music. So talk maybe a little bit about like your songwriting process. I know you used to be freestyling, but now do you write the song first and then find a beat, or find a beat first, or do you just freestyle in the studio, kind of for behind the scenes so people can understand what's your process like?
All right, yeah, I actually took like 3 years off one time. I deleted all my social medias, I got rid of all my past because I was like, dude, I need to become a new creation in Christ. But this was before I knew Christ, but I knew what I was headed towards. So I had to really discover what it was that like God really wanted me to do, or what was my actual purpose that was like synced into my DNA. And so when that happened, that's when I came back to music.
I think it's cool that people can hear like the backside of the story too of stuff, right?
Oh yeah, and then all of a sudden I felt like coming back to reality a little bit, and then got into the music scene and did my thing.
So what's the story behind like your artist name? Because you were talking about earlier, like you went by Laylow, kind of a different name, and kind of what led you to Laylow Rico, and what's the story behind that,
Uh,
or is there one?
yeah, it's just, you know, I was thinking of names, came up with Laylo, just kind of popped together, and then I was Laylo Sag Low because I used to be on my Crip stuff back then, but I don't really get into the politics no more. But yeah.
So walk me through kind of back on the like your music making process. What's it like for you as an artist from like idea to finished track?
Um, just break down the lyrics as I go. Whatever sounds natural and soothing through the moment of the beat, that's how I carry it. So
So you mostly have like a beat first and then you're writing to that or vice versa?
yeah,
Yeah, the beat first.
beat first, then whatever comes natural, because that's how I used to do my off the domes. So just flow, one in hand, and yeah.
What's your favorite part of like that whole music making process? Is it like maybe recording or getting the final product or the writing stage? What's if you had to be like, man, I really love this stage of my music making process, what would that be?
I'm not really too sure.
You like them all?
Like, what do you mean? I'm kind of
Like,
confused with the
do you
question.
most enjoy like coming to the studio and recording, or do you most enjoy the part where you're writing, or do you most enjoy the finished product? I mean, the mixing mastering stage. Each artist kind of has a certain piece of the process that they kind of really enjoy or they like the most. So we just always try to dive in and kind of understand artists at a deeper level that way.
Yeah, I'd say it's just the recording process. I think that's probably the best part.
So talk about like any maybe like challenges that you faced or trying to break through and get into the industry as kind of like an independent artist or maybe somebody who's not signed to a label. Have you faced any challenges like trying to break through or trying to get into the industry?
No, not really. I feel like it's more with people, but I'm not gonna get on into that.
Explain. I mean, like for other artists or somebody else who's out there who may be like interested in becoming an independent artist.
Well, it's not even really about the art, bro. It's really about God, bro. So that's what I mean. Like, if you're actually living by the gospel and you're living by Christ, bro, you're gonna have problems with the people outside. I don't think it has anything to do with the art.
So when you talk about that, like expand on that a little bit by at least maybe giving some advice because we touched on it a little bit earlier, but if you are living by the gospel, right, and that's something at the forefront, and you are walking that every day, but then like you say, there's challenges to that on one hand or another as well. What kind of advice or what kind of steps would maybe you give for other artists who are coming up who are in that similar position and thinking to themselves, well, man, I'm a child of God, but I want to make music X, Y, and Z too, but don't want to succumb to, these parts of it, right? Just expand on that a little bit so, the audience kind of understands you and what life you walk through.
Yeah, just be ready to die for what you believe in, your faith, and whatever you go through. If you're being persecuted or whatever you're going through in your life, like push through that, man. Don't be scared to fail or get hurt or get a little dirty, but in a good way.
Yeah, for sure. So a little bit about your releases because you've been working on some projects, right? And you've got some stuff. So talk a little bit about like the present and the future. What's kind of some stuff that you've maybe been working on, or something that's coming on down the road for people that they can check out?
Well, I got God's favor, man. It's coming out very, very soon. I believe summertime. Be on the lookout for that. And you can find me on Only One Rico, Ricco, on Instagram. If you're interested, I also go by Laylow Ricco as the main tag on that. And, just follow close to my journey and you'll see what God's doing through me.
You got any performances or any collaborations or anything coming up that are on the corner?
Nah,
Nothing
just God.
scheduled. Just God right now.
Just God.
I love that. Well, what do you see yourself like maybe in 5 years or 10 years or kind of what's your hope to get out of this music journey?
Whatever happens with God, God wants me to reach a bigger audience. I feel like it'll happen. If it doesn't, then, But I have faith in my Lord. I know He's gonna take me to high water. So, and I know if I'm doing what I need to do as a righteous man or upright man, then that's what it's gonna happen, bro. So I'm not tripping.
So here's a question that generally kind of throws people off a little bit. If you had to pick a theme song for your life, if you had to put a theme song to your life, maybe it's one that you've already written about yourself, or it's one that's out there. Could you put any theme song title to your life?
Dead Weight, man, by Laylow Ricco.
Go check it
Working
out.
off the dust, la lost. I'ma pay the cost cause I'm trying to be the boss. Too many out of hand, trying to count the band. Now this ain't easy, I can't be your friend. Doubling, stunting, how I got it hustling. There's more to lie, I can't be thinking twice. I just go and roll the dice, double sevens all the time. Wishes is the Lord, that's how I'm coming every time.
That's what's up, bro. That's what's up. I think that's probably a really good way to cap this one off, man. I think that's definitely something you guys need to go and check out. If you haven't checked it out already, it's called what again?
Dead Weight by Laylow Ricco.
Dead Weight by Laylow Ricco.
Can I spell that?
Absolutely.
Laylow and then space Ricco. Laylow Ricco. Laylow is one word, Ricco is another.
And tell the people again, what was the Instagram handle?
Only one, number one, Ricco. So only number one, Ricco. Check me out, ASAP.
We heard the man. Shout out to Laylow Ricco coming through Sound Valley and just at least kind of showing us a little bit inside knowledge to how he kind of makes music, his processes, how he's finding inspiration from the Lord. And man that grew up in Findlay, Ohio, has made his way down here to Phoenix, Arizona, and rapping, making music out of the Southwest and out of the desert. So
until next time, Ricco!
There you go. Laylow Ricco. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate you watching the episode. Tune in for more to come, and we'll see you next time.
Amen.